All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening if you're Rui and you're here from Africa. Thank you for joining. This is November's King's Counsel and Trust Town Hall gathering, where we come together to connect, to collaborate, to learn more about King's Counsel and Trust, Family Office, what we're up to, and then also hear about some of the remarkable initiatives that they're working with and how you can get involved. We also take the opportunity to do a great breakout session. So you get to network and collaborate with others who are here. And so with that, we want to welcome you and thank you for being here. Can you guys see my slide okay? Hold on.
Very small.
Very small. Okay. Are you seeing a whole screen? That would be the question. How is this? Is that better?
That's better.
Okay.
Much better. Thank you.
Okay, good. Perfect. So King's Counsel and Trust Family Office, connecting people for one purpose. And sorry, guys. So today we'll talk about the mission and vision. Many of you have heard that before, but if you're here new, then you get to align with that and see what we're up to. You're going to meet some of the team and our power partners. As I mentioned earlier, learn about some of our current initiatives, how to get involved. Then we do a breakout session for networking and collaboration, and then we do Q&A. Don't hold off on Q&A. Please post it in the chat. So that we can make sure that we get those answered. If we run out of time, we'll provide a way that you can we'll follow up with you afterwards if they're in the chat, and we'll share with you a way that you can get your questions answered beyond that. So here's our mission and vision. I'm just going to pause for a moment so you can read that. And there's so many things I love about this, the social impact ventures, prayer, prepare, participate, partner, and prosper together, and spreading good news. So I love, this is one of my favorite events each month because we have so much good news that we get to share and we get to come together and do that. So many of you are here because of this incredible human being who's been tagged as a financial futurist. He's an individual that is working to reinvent private equity as a function of cash flow. He also is really instrumental in the strategic philanthropy, and there's so much that happens at King's Counsel and Trust. And Dale, I think that's on the next slide before we introduce you. But here's a number of things that he's passionate about doing it in a much greater way and an impactful way. So with that, Dale, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Hey, thank you and welcome everybody. I guess it really comes down to we want to bring Wall Street to Main Street, and the principles of building wealth and cash flow shouldn't apply to just the elite, the upper crust, as it were. Unfortunately, while it often gets started there, similar to the craze in cryptocurrency right now, there's a lot of folks that just don't know what opportunities are available to them outside of the regular stocks, bonds, and mutual funds of their retirement plans. And unfortunately, for most, that's where, other than their home, just about 100% of all of their wealth is tied up into a system with a lot of professionals with licenses that are very knowledgeable, but have a conflict of interest in sharing alternatives to that space. And then that's really the essence of going all the way back to 2006 when I left Morgan Stanley to go out and stand for something, what God is doing for the love of all mankind, not just those with the wealthy, and think of it as a ministry in a matter of speaking, that really is addressed to not just the top line, but as you can see here, more about your bottom line. And what are some of those alternatives? What is wealth? What does it mean to you? And more importantly, how do you communicate that with your family? Because our model, unlike assets under management, is really about what are you doing with it. It's assets deployed, in a matter of speaking, your time, your talent, your treasure. And the governance isn't so much in estate planning as it's often taught as charitable remainder trusts. And this is how you're remembered after you die. I say the kingdom is here now, that we're living it now, and still the best is yet to come. So why not have a charitable living trust? Turn that whole model on its head and enjoy that while you're very much alive. Include your family, because if they don't know what to pick up to when you decide to graduate, What does that look like? Oftentimes it will die with you. And unfortunately, many not-for-profits often are faced with that challenge when their founders pass. So if that's important to you, how that model, how that structure is put in place, very, very important, because there is no success without secession. A lot of men don't understand that. And then especially in America, we like to procrastinate. There's always tomorrow, but is there? And right now we're facing some very interesting times. We just happen to know a little bit about that agenda, and more importantly, what you can prepare for in the event of power outages, in case of emergency, not just physical weather and weird things going on, but what you can do to get your house in order and get ready. We'll touch on some of those other opportunities that the Business Acceleration Network and King's Counsel, we do together. So all of that to say is there's a lot to go over. It's not all going to come out today, but if any of this is interesting at all, please, when we're all said and done, we've got a nice little landing page, a drop down, let us know what you're interested in or like to see more of or hear more of. And one or more of our team will get back with you and have a nice little discussion about that. Moving right along, what we'd like to do, just briefly, is to highlight a few of our regular team members, some newer, some older. Today, Thomas Richter is going to be sharing with one of our new power partners, Jeff Borglin, a little bit about what's going on with a really exciting project in the healthcare space that applies to every, and I mean every, organization that offers a health and wellness benefit in this country. But before you take off, Thomas, I'd also like to kind of point out with David Dunworth, we've got a nice little snapshot of that fella here too, handling some of our trust and fiduciary services. That is my right hand in that space. There's just, if you don't know it already, federal income tax is optional. Let me put that another way. Did you know that you have a choice as to whether or not you pay income tax or could avoid that? You have options. So another time we'll talk more about that a little bit, but moving right along, we of course have Shannon, and we do have her picture up. We obviously know that she's the host of this nice little town hall get together. Many of you, if you do know Shannon, already know through the Business Acceleration Network, but she's represents much more of the feminine energy to kind of give us, testosterone-driven fellas a little bit of balance and keep us moving forward. So with that, I'm just going to give a high-level overview of how we all got started in the first place. Is we know about the importance of the cryptocurrency. And when people are beginning to talk about it, they don't know much about what it is, what it stands for, what the trends are, but we do know it has the attention of worldwide governments and banks. And so I want to be able to just kind of give you a highlight here. If we have the video on hand, Shannon, if you'll just let me know. And there's one other fellow, I just was scrolling through here, South Africa. We're not just doing America. This is not just an American thing. I think if what God's doing, if it doesn't apply to the whole population, we might be missing the boat. In this case, one of our newer members representing the great continent of Africa, of which both Asia, Europe, and the United States could all fit into. Rui, pretty soon we need to have a profile of you up here too. Thank you for joining us today from across the pond. So without details for the wallet just yet, let's take us back to why did we first come here and let you know what we have going on? We think you'd be interested. Leslie, thank you for chiming in today as a new, curious, interested party. I'll be quiet now and let you have 3.5 minutes of why we're pretty excited. Thank you for joining us today.
Improve, where technology is constantly making life simpler. We can swipe a card or just tap our phones to pay for anything from gadgets to groceries. Life has never been so easy. And that's a problem. Because if we're focused on easy, we become more dependent on technology and less capable of functioning for ourselves. You see, some folks are trying to sell us on a digital currency, for our security and convenience. But the truth is, to take away our cash is to take away our choices and security. All we have would be under the control of whoever is pushing the buttons behind the scenes. And like it or not, their end goal is to control our lives and our assets. It's not worth it to sacrifice freedom for a little convenience. We've been told wrong, guys. There's no future for us in that system. But here's the big question. How can we stay current with technology and still be free? That's why we've created ICOVest, an innovative new way for each of us to contribute towards the future of our communities, allowing us to continue to work together and exchange silver for goods and services. And the cool thing is, you don't need to have silver to get started. Every time we co-vest some of our cash here, each of us and our communities will benefit from the rewards. We call it co-vesting because it's something we're all doing together for our future. We have a goal to set aside enough silver to get all of us through the things we know are coming. ICOVest is geared towards people who like to get things done so we can reach this goal quickly. We're not a crowdfunding platform. When you co-vest with us, we're all putting our resources to work because we want you to succeed as well. We know it works, and we just have to share it with you guys. Join the movement that's already bringing value back into our hands so we can make our own decisions and be in control of our own wealth. There's a really cool opportunity for us here. Get ahead of the game and tell your friends.
I co-vest because I care.
I co-vest because I care.
I co-vest because I care.
I co-vest because I care. Join the ICOVest movement. This is our moment. We have to act now. Click ICOVest to establish your own ICO vesting account with 21 silver coins or more today.
Thank you, Shannon. What you might not know is that little clip was put together about 3 years ago. We have an idea of what's coming down, and more than that, like Noah was given a blueprint for an ark. We too have a blueprint, and that's the basis of our wallet initiative today. It's not just a place to be able to have a digital representation of your cryptos or your dollars, or more for most people, their credit, as the case may be, but also precious metals, and the ability to have a hybrid, shall we say, a type of exchange with which to peer-to-peer to be able to buy and sell from one another, or we just simply call exchange, trade value for value. And you know, if you want to ever know what we're doing, where's the biblical basis for it, I would encourage you. There's no coincidence that the periodic table, the silver symbol, is 47. That's the periodic table number. Ironically enough, if we go back to Genesis 47 and you read that in your Bibles, you're going to find out exactly what we're doing, how we're doing it, and more importantly, why we're doing it. A lot of folks I know in the Christian faith would, if they're honest, would admit that they haven't read the book cover to cover. And I would submit to you that it's as the holy book that it is, and there's a number of other good ones out there, that there's a lot of what's in there that simply can't be ignored and dismissed. So I'm proud to represent the ministry to take it to the streets and evangelize, as it were, as to what to do about it, because I don't see gloom and doom. I see opportunities that abound far and abroad, and we can have a say about how things get done. In a dark world, our job is to show up as light. And so I'm really honored to be here and share with you all. We believe we're going to have the next generation wallet. We already have next generation wallet be functional and as soon as the end of this month. That's where we're tracking. Our team gets together, about a dozen folks across all over the world, and 7 o'clock every morning Eastern to talk about how we're doing there. And I was hoping maybe it would be this time. It doesn't look like it. Probably next, where we can come together and share some good news. But anyway, for those that have co-vested with us, thank you so much. But today I'm really grateful for a new project we want to bring on board and talk about that, and the fellow that brought it to us, Jeff, and representing Trifecta Healthcare Solutions. Thomas and Jeff, I turn it over to you guys. Tell us a little bit about what's going on and why you guys are excited about sharing this.
All right, well, let me give a brief introduction to the community here. I did ask Shannon before we began how many people had registered, and I said we only have about 10% of the people who register. So Jeff, there's a bigger audience that this will go out to. So just pretend we've got 70 people. You just can't see their lovely faces at this moment. I was introduced to Jeff through a gentleman by the name of Steve Sullivan, who was introduced to King's Counsel and Trust from another individual, and there's a lineage. So Jeff is the manifestation of a number of relationships that KCT has had over the years, and Jeff has captured the vision of KCT probably a bit more quickly than most people do, in terms of he's a fellow who, as a strong believer, wants to live out his faith in a practical demonstration. I think perhaps I'll let him talk a little bit more about that, but that's the thing that drew me to KCT, is just like, can I really be in the world and not of the world? And yes, you can. And I've been doing that for 10 years now. Jeff is a wonderful brother, and has a spirit that is extremely catchy. I mean, every time we talk, and we talk several times a week, just because we enjoy one another's company. And that's the kind of the camaraderie that we want to experience here. So again, this is a family of faith. And so I count Jeff as a brother, and I feel like I've known him an awful long time, but he has brought a relationship that the principal's name is Derek Ryan. He's a young man who's a strong apologist for his faith, and he is revolutionary. He's going to revolutionize the healthcare spend for the employers who provide that kind of a benefit. Jeff, I think, shared with me early on in our conversation that about 25% of the healthcare spend brings no value in the value chain. 25%. And I thought, okay, we'll quantify that. What does 25% represent in terms of dollars spent? And he staggered me with his answer. $1 trillion of lost value. And Jeff, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk a little bit more about how you are assisting Derek at Trifecta, and how your forensic and artificial intelligence is really disrupting and getting full control back to the employers, and taking it out of the hands of the hospitals and the insurance company. So Jeff, I turn it over to you.
All right, thank you, Thomas. So as you guys can imagine, $1 trillion is not money that people that are getting that money and not delivering any value want to give up anytime soon, because they've built great lives behind that. But I feel like God's called me specifically into this battle, and it has been one of the most difficult battles of my entire life. I've been in the trenches, and the irony of the whole scenario, if people on this call don't know, is that the government is involved under a program called ERISA, which has traditionally managed the 401k sector of the business, but employee benefits and healthcare benefits fall under that. But until the employers used to pay all the money, the employers paid everything, so nobody questioned it. But now 25% of the money that's paid toward all these premiums is employee money. That's commingled funds. So now ERISA is starting to become an issue, and it's amazing because it's the only industry I've ever worked in where the people that have the money are not in control. They don't have control of how that money is being spent. They don't have oversight on it and everything. So I have been in the trenches finding out what the problems are. And I met this guy, Derek Ryan, and Derek and I are kindred spirits as well. We're both passionate about fixing this intentionally broken system. And we believe we can do it via the truth. And the truth comes, of course, in data, which has been traditionally very hard to come by because the insurance carriers and the hospitals have protected it with their life. Good news is the government, who isn't always there to help, but the government has a situation in there where they're saying, no, the ultimate fiduciary that's responsible for the money that's being spent is the employer, is the company that is spending that money on behalf of their employees. And I met Trifecta and said, it seems like we need to develop a data analytics system that can turn this whole scenario upside down. And so that's what we've been working on for the past year and a half and I've been consulting with them to try to help them figure out how to do this. They have a data science team that is as good as I've met out there in the industry. These guys can do anything. We just had to figure out how to use their talents to the abilities that they had. And fortunately for us, we did. And we, like I said, we are growing what we call a kingdom ecosystem out there in the healthcare field. And that has allowed us to build a program that doesn't currently exist right now in the data analytics field. And with that being said, the beautiful part is that I get the joy of going out to the marketplace and educating the marketplace of what Trifecta has come up with. And the response has been staggering. It has been so much greater than we could have ever expected. So we built this, little technology with the money we all had together and all the passion and all the energy that we had to do it. But it's growing so fast, basically, we need to ramp it up. We cannot grow at the level of interest that we have out there. So that's when I started talking to Thomas and Dale and saying, hey, would this be an initiative that you guys would be interested in? So the problem, of course, and again, I'll address this really quickly, and then you can decide how much more we want to talk about it, is the employee, as healthcare costs rise, I think you guys know, they probably average rising like 6 to 10% every year for the past 25 years. So, name, the industry where everything has risen that much and never gone back down. I don't know of any that exist. So we're battling against that, and we're trying to figure out a way to not have that happen. And the burden gets thrown onto the employee. So I don't know if anybody here has employee covered healthcare or not, but 25 years ago, when my dad worked at Ford Motor Company, he had $250 deductible. He paid nothing toward his premium, and he had $1,000 max out of pocket. Right now, the industry average is a $2,500 deductible, max out of pocket of $7,500, and you have to pay $200-$300 if you have a family or whatever to get the coverage. So even if you don't use the healthcare, you're still paying $2,000-$4,000. When I explained that to my father, he just couldn't believe it. He said, "I can't even believe this." So unfortunately, all of this is being thrown on the employees and what I told Dale and Thomas, and I'll leave it at this. You guys can ask questions later. Our statistics show that in the United States, over 60% of Americans are either uninsured or functionally uninsured. And functionally uninsured means you may have a Blue Cross card in your pocket, but you can't afford the deductible. So therefore, and a deductible means you have to pay that first before anybody else pays anything. If you can't afford the deductible, you're not going to get the service. And so 60+% of the people out there can't afford it. And we have a client that we are trying to duplicate that is offering zero deductible, zero copay, zero coinsurance, max out of pocket of $1,000. And this company is doing it and they're winning. So there's a proven model. All we needed was the data analytics system to go along with it. So that's what we have now. That's what we're bringing to the marketplace. And I'm done talking.
And
Jeff.
all of that was going in somebody else's pocket can now go towards things like putting your kid through higher education.
Yep.
And giving back, local charities and other things like that. My goodness. I mean, why does it need to go to big pharma or the insurance companies, as it were. Keep it local. That's what I so love about what's going on. It's more in the pockets of the people that are making it happen. I appreciate you sharing that, Jeff. Is there any more, Thomas, that we need to know about Trifecta as we get started with this group? Because we'll obviously, as we hit our milestones with onboarding, we'll certainly keep everybody posted. But what else do we need to know, guys?
Well, I would think that as you know, when you think about the companies, the relationships that you have, if you know people who need the service that Jeff is, just giving us a brief overview of, we want to be able to connect you with Jeff. So again, if you have potential contacts, referrals that you'd like to bring to Jeff's attention, here's again the beauty of being a cooperative marketing covenant with KCT is we have a way to reward you for your participation. So again, it's not perhaps what you have in your wallet, it's who do you have in your Rolodex, who needs this very service that Jeff is represented here, and to have a nice little thank you as an honorarium, we want to be able to do that for you.
Well,
Yeah, I will also mention about the uninsured and the functionally uninsured. One of the problems is that, as you can imagine, if your employees cannot access the healthcare that they need, they may not be functioning on the very level that you want them to function on as an employee. So this organization I have, that's a client of mine down in Florida, that's offering zero deductible, no co-insurance, very low out-of-pocket costs. Their employees, who are actually older than sicker than the industry average, are getting access to all the healthcare that they need. They provide rides if they need to get into the doctor's office or wherever it is. They do anything that they can do to improve the lives of their employees, which is what we want to be part of as well. Because yeah, we want to put more money back in the employees' pockets, but we also want them to get access to the greatest healthcare system in the country. And the fact that 60+% of them don't have access to it in any real form is just tragic, and it can happen. It can change tomorrow if we all want to band together.
Sure. Well, I think that speaks to both Jeff and you, Thomas, to our next topic, and Thomas, you can add a little bit more of that. To learn about our power partners, which obviously we're going to have a little discussion on that tomorrow for any interested. But Thomas, just a couple words about that, because that's an ongoing thing. What are we doing here in the first place? We're all working with businesses that we might be familiar with, and we're all representing, what we bring to the table in terms of our expertise. But are we aware of who else we may know to also bring and share in that? A little bit more, Tom?
Can I just interrupt one last thing, Dale? I'm sorry. I just want to say one last thing. The other cool part about what's happened to you guys, and I can talk about this for hours, so I apologize. This is my last point, is that there is going to be a massive need to attract talent in 2022 and beyond with the great resignation and everything that's happening. And my client that's offering this healthcare package that nobody else is offering, they're in the hospitality business. The hospitality business turnover rate is 50%. My client's turnover rate is 5%. When they have a $15 an hour housekeeper job, they get 250 applications for it at any given time. Well, what does that mean for organizations that are trying to attract this talent that's leaving other places and in this talent war? It's a huge one, you guys, and employers are going to want to know about ways to attract greater talent, and this is one of those ways.
Yeah, I think this is a good example and demonstration of our ability to attract disruptive technology and our desire to share it with everyone who's part of our KCT Power Partner team. I mean, we want to encourage you to be able to share good news. Sadly, most people don't know how to share good news. They love to share bad news. That's easy. You have a bad steak, you tell everybody you know. But most people don't share when last time they had a good steak. So again, I don't know what it is about the human nature that says, I want to keep the good news to myself. Maybe it's just selfishness. I don't want anyone else to visit that steakhouse. But the good news, there's good news everywhere. Will we share it? Will you share it? Jeff's got some great news to share. And we want to encourage everyone that everyone that who's in business, as an employee, as an employer, there's good news out there. It's available. most people don't know where to even begin to look for it. So if we don't share the good news, I think, this might seem a little harsh, but we could have blood on our hands by not sharing good news.
Well, in this case, for everyone's benefit, we're going to learn more about what the appropriate avatar looks like, potentially as respective power partners in one capacity or another. We could all represent extended sales force, sales agents, and to use that term very loosely for an organization like this. And if I'm not mistaken, they only need a few $1,000,000 to go to the next level. That opportunity, obviously, we'll have to take offline for any that's interested. And who do we know? Last time I checked, though, we're all going to need some type of health and wellness type of care and counsel. This could be something worth looking at. So with that, our next Power Partner event is, well, just tomorrow. And so if you've got a smartphone, I don't know how that works, but the phone's smarter than I am. There's something that you can kind of scroll down if you're using an Android. And I'm not sure how it works on an Apple, but you can take a picture of that thing right there and go get plugged into our event that's happening tomorrow. And is there anything more we need to know about that, Shannon? How does that work?
No, this is an open invitation for anybody that's been to a town hall meeting. So you're all invited. This is a great chance to dive in deeper in what KCT is up to and how you can get involved and learn a little bit more about their cooperative marketing covenant and how we can play together. And we do another breakout session, so you get to network and meet other people from around the world and share some of your passion and what you're up to too.
Very cool. Thank you very much. Well, if I'm not mistaken, I think we're at the bottom of our highlights. And yeah, this is like the kind of the fun part. So what's coming on next? How does this work?
Okay, great.
Hey, Dale, Shannon, if I could just interject there, I beg your
Yes,
pardon.
sir.
For Jeff and Thomas, question for you, Jeff. Has your Trifactor product been taken international? Second question would be, are there intentions to take it international? And if the answer to the two questions I've just asked is yes, you and I need to have a discussion. I would like to introduce you to a medical insurance scheme that has just under 17.5 million people in it.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Will you put the contact information in there and well, you're part of Dale's team, so you guys can connect. Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah.
Jeff, sorry, I'm hoping you guys can keep going.
I'll connect offline with you, Reed. No problem.
Okay. That's one of the amazing things about King's Counsel and Trust and what they're doing is that when your project gets involved and have the opportunity to work in their advisory board council, you get to have brilliant minds in all different areas come in and support you. So you're kind of feeling the magic now, Jeffrey. I mean, you knew it ahead of time, but thank you, Rui, for chiming in, and thank you for being here. We really love it. So this next part is a lot of fun. This is where you get to break out into a small room. We love to hear who you are, what you're up to, and I think I even have a slide for this. What are you looking? I just hit the wrong button. What are you looking for next, and how can we help you? This is you've heard the term ask and you shall receive. Well, in this community, ask in the community, and you'll be plugging into not only brilliant minds, but people who know a lot of people. I just realized with Rui, you threw out a big number there for the insurance connection there. And so please, if there's something that's near and dear to your heart, it doesn't have to be with business, it could be something personal. This is a chance to really tap into the community and make that request or make that ask and get to know each other. So I invite you to put your information in the chat. Just know that whatever is in your private room, it doesn't go in for everybody else to see. And we'll show you at the end how to save the chat, but make sure you post your information in there so that there's a follow-up, because really a lot of the magic is when you connect afterwards and have those deeper conversations. So we invite you to do that. So once you get in, a screen will pop up. You just click on it. It'll take you into the room. You're going to need a timekeeper. We've got about 2 minutes each. One of the rooms is going to have 3 people, so you can probably go for 2 1/4. Another room has 4. And Dale, I think I covered anything. Thomas, is there anything else that I needed to cover?
Now, let's get to it.
Okay.
Good.
All right. Here you go. Enjoy, and make sure you get a timekeeper. Make sure that it's, either give a 10-second warning or put the loud noise next to your speaker, because we want to make sure everybody has a chance to share. myself pictures. Next.
As I was saying, ladies, if you put your contact information in now, everybody will get it. But if you did it in the chat, it's just for, whoever picked it up during that time. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
All right, how was that? Did you feel like you could have stayed in there for another 5 minutes?
We could have stayed longer, but it was good.
Okay. Jeffrey, I'm sorry, Jeff, I called you Jeffrey. Please forgive me if that's out of context. You sent your message. It went to me directly because I sent you a message. So if you want to check it out, I was trying to respond, but it's telling me that you're not there.
Why not doing that thing? Okay,
Okay, great. I think you're sending it to everybody. So with that, anybody want to share a quick highlight before we go into our final remarks and share a few more events? Anybody learn something new or an aha moment or?
Well, thank you for putting Jeff and Rui together in the room again. It's just another example of you don't know what you don't know until you put people together and you stir the pot a little bit. So who knows what's going to happen, but it looks very promising.
Oh, beautiful. Yay. So working that magic. All right.
Thomas, ask yourself, how do you eat a chocolate cake? One slice at a time.
One slice.
Listen, if my wife's not watching, I'll have to.
I hear you.
So another beautiful event that we've pulled together since COVID, the minute it started, it was probably like a week into it, is our Love Your Neighbor community. And this is such a community. We meet once a month now. We were actually meeting twice a week, which was really, I just want to commend Dale for his commitment to helping the world pivot and shift and sharing all of his knowledge and wisdom of what was going on. And it was beautiful. We've moved it to once a month, but the biggest gift that people get from this community is Dale has opened up what I call a treasure chest of information. We've helped people secure over $200,000 in funding, grant money, which is free money. We've also helped people get their house in order. There's just so much that's there. We had a new person show up last night. It's the second Tuesday of every month. They wrote back and they were like, oh my gosh, that was worth thousands of dollars just getting into this treasure chest. And so we invite you to come and participate. It's at thegreatestcommand.com. Dale, did you want to add anything before I go to on this particular topic?
Only other thing you mentioned last night worth we're just sharing with you is we've invested in think of it as a community / collaborative coursework type community platform where we can, unlike Facebook, have our information harvested. We can more or less get together on purpose and be a little bit more intentional with what we share and with each other. I don't know, Shannon, if you want to mention a little bit that's to be coming.
Yeah, so it's really exciting. One of the things that we're doing is next month, we are not having any virtual events like this. We still will have the family I'm sorry, the Love Your Neighbor, but we are working on implementing this community. And so the Business Acceleration Network has a number of courses and curriculums, and so does KCT. We have an agreement process. I mean, we've got how to access publicity and media. And so we're going to be uploading all of that into this network. And what's so beautiful is it takes learning and community and puts it together. And so we're really excited. We are going to be moving the KCT community into this space so that we can keep that collaboration going beyond what we're doing here. I mean, I know we're still connecting, but imagine, Jeff, you're able to share a new announcement or some good news, and everybody in the community can help celebrate that with you, but also be reminded of what you're up to in that sharing. So we're really looking for that next level of growing this community in a way that is beyond just these virtual meetings. So our next town hall gathering is in January 10th. We would love if you would share this with individuals. Thank you, Debbie, for bringing Leslie. One of the greatest referrals is sharing what we're up to, and the town hall is our public open event and letting people know what we're up to. Our next Power Partner meeting is tomorrow. If you have not participated, this is a little bit deeper dive. Dale talks a little bit more about the wallet, but we do go into what we call our CMC, and that's our Collaborative Marketing Covenant agreement. I kind of taglined it the GSD, get stuff done, but we've heard terms of get shit done meeting. Excuse my French if that is offensive. I'm sorry, Dale dropped his Dale. Sorry. Get stuff done meeting. And so this is an opportunity where you actually get to see behind the curtains in our project management. You get to look at some of our projects. We have individuals like Debbie who've stepped up to volunteer, and we kind of say, hey, this is what we're working on. What are talents that you want to contribute, or who do you know? And it's really been beautiful to have that opportunity. You get to learn a lot more tomorrow in our Power Partner meeting, what that looks like. You get to hear a lot more from Thomas tomorrow. And I think that's it. So with this one though, the CMC, we do ask that you attend a Power Partner meeting first, just so that you know what we're up to. Dale or Thomas, anything else before I turn it over to you for your closing remarks and Q&A?
I don't have anything else to add.
Okay.
No, well done.
All
Just
right.
under an hour.
Yes. Any questions? Anybody have any? David, go ahead.
I have one question for Jeff. Is the person that you're working with, a hospitality company, can that insurance program work nationwide?
100%.
They're in Florida, you mentioned, but it can go anywhere. Great.
And they've done it for 20 years, so it's not like they just started doing it last year. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. All right. Great. That's super. I think I have some leads for you.
Thank you for listening.
Beautiful. Leslie, I didn't get to see your face, but I'd love to hear your voice. How are you doing? Oh, she's muted. And you're muted too, Debbie. That's okay. All right. If there's not any other questions, I think we will finish up. Debbie, you're muted. I don't know if you're still saying something. No. Okay, perfect.
I just wanted to make a comment to Dale. Dale, at the beginning of the presentation, you said that procrastination is something that happens pretty much all the time in the US. No, my friend, you got that wrong. That is a global thing. It's a scourge that the earth or the globe has embraced. I don't know for what value. But to your GSD, and I won't say use your definition, people sit on their thumbs waiting for a sunny day before they make decisions. And I think the world is at a point where if somebody leads and shows them how to get off their thumbs, take that first step, because the sun continues to shine regardless. The world will become a better place.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And thank you, Dale, for creating this community and bringing us together to support some of these amazing initiatives.
Well, My pleasure. To God be the glory. I just would encourage you all as you receive this based on what you heard today. Yeah, we've got a bigger problem than just procrastination here with the people in the States. Share it with who do you know, as it were. If you don't yet understand how this cooperative power partner thing works, register for tomorrow and let's get into the weeds a little bit about this. There's a lot of rewards to go around that would otherwise go to an advertising or a marketing company. We'd like to kind of keep it in-house and share with you. So I don't know who you know, but based on what you heard and what some of the folks need next, it's time to roll up our sleeves. When Jesus looked out on the harvest, he didn't pray, hey, let's go do a fundraiser. He was praying for those capable of bringing in the harvest. I'd like to think that we have a role in that. So with that, if you haven't already scanned and registered for what's going on tomorrow, get your phone out, figure out how that works right there. And the replay will be coming out to you shortly, so you can have that for your records review and to share. Anything else we need to know, Shannon?
I just have to say, I love your emblem in the middle of your code there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
If you Google that, you can find out how to customize your QR code as well. So it's a free service. You're welcome to try that yourself.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Well, I might add, I would always be remiss if I didn't emphasize the importance of having physical sovereign silver in your arsenal. If you have not yet prepared, still on sale as far as I'm concerned. And when we become the bank, well, what are we learning here? Banking on yourself, banking on each other. I tend to know where it is and I know who has it, and that I can authenticate, as the case may be. Not just what it is, but from which mint which treasury it actually came from. I'm one of the key persons that does it for the iCovest group, and I'm happy to share with y'all more about that as you're making your preparations. I hope it's not last minute procrastination, but be that as it may, please let me know if I can help in any particular way. Please visit kctfo.com/covestors. And as Shannon has shared before, drop down you're in the drop down form, your area of interest, and one or more of us will get back to you here shortly with next steps and learn more about it. So with that, God bless you all. And for those of you hanging in tomorrow, see you back then. And
see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right.